Hi everyone, good evening. How are you all? Good evening, everyone. If I'm audible, do mention in the chat. Yes, everyone, good evening. Am I audible? Okay, I can see the responses. Audible, good evening, good evening. Where are you all? Others? Good evening, Sakina. Good evening, Omkar. How are you doing, everyone? Rohan, good evening. How are you all? Doing good. Great. Okay. So, welcome to the today's session. Good to know that you all are doing good. Nishal, great. Kavalpreet, great. Okay, so let's move forward. So, as we go for every session, first, before starting with the session, quickly I'm highlighting with the session hygiene rules that we do in every session, that don't share any personal or sensitive information in the chat. Use your real name, that is very mandatory because when we interact, it's better I know your name. As I'm joining with the real name, you should also join with your real name instead of your laptop's name. Don't share any personal information in the chats. Use the chat option for interaction and for asking any queries, and keep a notebook and a pen in a hand to note down the important pointers. Right? So, before we go on to the session ahead, the agenda for the session is: first, we will be doing a recap of what we have discussed in the previous session. Then we will go with the introduction of natural language processing. So this is a new topic and an interesting topic which we all will relate to. Then we will see what are the steps in that with a lot of demos, quizzes and Q&A. So let's move forward. So before we move forward with today's session, let's take a couple of minutes to recap the things around. So first thing on your screen, quickly scan the QR code, fill out the form so that I know how we can proceed with the session, with which level we can proceed in the session. Everyone, quickly take out your phones, scan the QR code, fill out the form, and mention done in the chat once done. Once done, mention done in the chat. Okay, I can see 3 people has submitted. Rest, everyone. Please quickly scan the QR code and fill out the form. Spurti done. Okay. Mehek done. Likhit done. Okay, now I can see a lot of done. Okay. So we will be moving towards our recap. So I will be asking you a few questions and you can share your thoughts or you can answer right or wrong any answers here in the chat, right? So first of all, I would like to ask from you, can anyone tell me what is deep learning or what you understand by deep learning in the previous session? Everyone be quick when you are answering, as I cannot see all the chat. I only see the chat which is on the front or who answers first. What do you understand by the deep learning? As we have learned in the previous session. Okay, I got few responses. Subset of machine learning inspired by the human brain structure using multi-layered artificial neural networks to automatically learn patterns. Great, Likhit. Okay. Okay. Take helps of neural networks, Manu. Okay, Diksha, do deeper analysis similar to machine learning using neural networks. So you remember neural networks. Great. Kawalpreet, type of learning that works with the help of ANN. Okay, so we know now that what is deep learning basically? It is a part of artificial intelligence where machines are learning from the patterns directly from data instead of following fixed rules. In other words, rather than telling the computer exactly what to do step by step, we provided with large amounts of data and system learns from the data on its own. That is what machine learning was, right? So I will ask from you, if you show a small child many pictures of cat again and again, what happens over time? This example we did in the previous session also. What happens with time? If I show a small child automatically learning through the picture, okay, learns, Manu, okay. Okay, right. So if we show the child a picture of cat again and again, it will learn from the patterns. The child learns ears, eyes, shape, and then identifies how a new cat looks, right? Similarly, deep learning system learns from various examples. Now, the next topic we discussed was artificial neural networks. So what do you understand by ANN? What you understand by ANN or artificial neural network? Okay, everyone in the chat, what you understand by artificial neural network? Okay, I can see where it works like human neurons. Gayatri answers. Okay, Likhit says are computational models inspired by the human brain designed to analyze. Okay, proper definition Likhit is providing. Hope you are not taking help of GPT or Google. Okay, Adarsh is artificial or man-made simulation of human neural systems. Great. So, what artificial neural networks is? That is neural networks which is similar to our brain. Okay, how many layers we have in artificial neural network? How many layers we have in artificial neural network? Others, I know layers. How many layers I'm asking? Likhit says three. Please name the three layers. Okay, Diksha answers the name of the three layers. Which three layers we have? Rest. Okay, Ujjwal says, Diksha answer, Likhit answers, input, hidden layer, and the output layer. So input layer is in which we give the image, text, or any input. What is hidden layer? What is the purpose of hidden layer, everyone? What was the purpose of hidden layer? Okay, Adarsh. What was the purpose of hidden layer? Fast. To take decision based on pattern. Okay. Between input and output, which helps in deeper analysis. Okay. It applies a set of bases to the given. Okay, basically the main purpose of hidden layer was to analyze the features such as shape, size, ears, tails, and after processing all the information, the output layer gives the final result, right? So this was what we studied or learned about ANN. And the third thing we learned was real world applications. So, okay, give me two real world applications of deep learning. Everyone, give me two real world applications of deep learning, which you remember. CV and chatbot. Okay. Image processing, audio recognition. Great. Great, Adarsh. Great, Kavalpreet. Then chatbot. Okay. Likhit says Facial recognition for phone, voice activated virtual assistant. Self-driving cars. Great, great. You remember every example. That's great. So we have image recognition, speech recognition. We have natural language processing that we will be studying today. So basically what natural language processing is, what do you understand by natural language processing, by the word? We will go into the depth soon. But what do you understand by that term? As it's written here, what do you understand by NLP? Okay, I got some answers. Natural language, processing natural language. Okay, so we will be going into the NLP into the depth. Before that, I will show you few of the questions and you will be answering that based on the riddles. Okay, so first question, who am I? On the screen, I learn from huge amount of data. I don't follow fixed rules. I automatically find patterns like the human brain. What is, who am I? Traditional programming, deep learning or spreadsheet? Okay, deep learning, deep learning. Okay, I have received a lot of answers. Kavalpreet gave me the first answer. Great. So let's see. Deep learning is the answer. Deep learning was when we were learning from large amount of data and automatically discovering the patterns. But traditional programming was when we were learning the patterns rule by rule. Now, let's let's move to the next activity. So, that you have to fill in the blanks. The statement is deep learning automatically learns dash from raw data instead of following manual rules. Okay, the options are here. Okay, I got one answer from Manu, Kavalpreet, others also answered, and a lot more people have answered. Great. Omkar, Rohan. Great. So most of the answers I received is patterns. Right. So what deep learning systems analyze? They analyze the raw data such as images, text, sounds, and automatically identify the patterns within that data. For example, in speech, they learn sound patterns. In language, they learn word relationship meanings that we will see today. Okay, let's move on to the next activity for today, that is decode the word. So you will see some jumbled words, letters. Your task is to rearrange and find the correct word as we did in the previous session also. So first word you have on your screen. First. Who will answer first? Okay, Spooty gave me the first answer. Gayatri also answered correct. Okay, so first one to answer was Spurti. That is correct. That is neuron. So what neuron is basically? One line explanation. What neuron is? Everyone. Okay, I can see a lot of responses. Cell name. Okay. Which cell name? What neuron is? Everyone. Brain cell. Okay. Connect brain cell to spinal cord. Right. So neuron is that as a brain cells and which helps us, which is similar to what we use in our neural networks, that is neurons. So the word neuron is the foundation of our neural networks and our deep learning, right? So, okay. So I have made some observations that you all are very good in solving the riddles, fill-ups and jumble words as well. But what about if we go with the scenarios? How you all are in that? Let's have a look that how you are in solving the scenarios. So now the next question is a scenario based question where you will be applying your knowledge to real world situation. So instead of remembering definitions, You will think like problem solvers. So now, a company wants to build a system that recognizes faces from thousands of images with different lighting and different angles. Now, based on this situation, which approach should they use? Rule-based programming or deep learning? I got the answer from Sakina, Gayatri, Likhit. Okay. Ujjwal also answered, but Ujjwal, that is the wrong answer. Goon answered, Spooty answered, rest all of you have answered correctly. Rohan has answered correctly. Okay. Omkar, that is incorrect. Adarsh, right. Okay, I can see. Kawalpreet, I can see. Okay, right. So we have received a lot of examples, a lot of answers, sorry. So let's see the right answer. So the right answer is deep learning because it can analyze thousands of images and automatically learn the facial features such as shape, structure, patterns, and they can handle variations like uh, lighting, angles because they learn from the data rather than following the rule based instructions. We see in the previous session like how it can categorize an image, how it can tell the breed of the dogs even, and how it can do object detection, right? So deep learning is powerful. So excellent work, everyone. Through these activities, riddles, fill-ups, decoding, we have applied our understanding of deep learning in different ways, right? So let's move ahead. So, all right, everyone, we are going to a live demonstration where we will interact with the system using natural language. So, you can scan this QR code for the same. So, it is a fun activity wherein we will use a tool which is demonstrating natural language processing. We will give the commands in simple English and the system understands and performs the task. So, it is based on a puzzle which is called Tower of Hanoi. And what we have to do will tell you. Okay, let me open on my screen also. So I hope everyone has scanned. If done, mention done in the chat. Once you have scanned, mention done in the chat so that I can instruct you what we have to do in this puzzle. If you are done, mention done in the chat. Okay, done, done, done. Okay, so see, on this screen we have no buttons, we have no arrows, anything. We have to simply write the instruction here. You will be telling me the instructions in the chat. What we need to do, we need to create this same hierarchy, blue, green, red. आपको ये same बनाना है किसमें? Third वाले bar में. And this bar is called as peg, P-E-G. So we have to create the same. So how should I move the blocks to do that? Tell me in the chat. You will instruct me one by one. So whatever instruction you will give me for the first step, what first step we should do? Final outcome should be the same, but not in the first bar, in the third bar. So how we can do this? First step. Tell me in the chat. Tell me in the chat what I have to write in this. Red to 2. Okay, Ujjwal says red to 2. Okay. Move red line to peg on upper side. Okay. Gun which upper side? Right, middle, left. Move red disk to the second bar. Okay, I received 3 responses. Top 3 responses, not only 3, to say red onto the second bar. So we will write here, which is the middle peg. So if I enter, see red will be moving to the middle one. What next? What next? I have written this. Ujjwal says green to 3, red to 3. Now I have followed red to the second one. What next instruction? What next we should write? Okay, green to the middle. Okay, I have received multiple responses. Move the green disk to the middle. Let me press enter. Okay, done. Now what next? What next? What should we do next? Blue to the last. Okay, blue to the right. So see, we are just giving the instructions through our text. Then green to the last. Okay. Blue to the third, green to the last. Move blue disk to the 3 bar. Red to the last. Yes. Red disk to the right. Okay. So see, this demo was purely where we are moving disk from one bar to another bar, but not with buttons or code. Instead, we are simply typing the instructions. In which language? In our natural language. Move disk from here to there, move disk to the middle peg or to the right peg or to the left. So, done everyone? Tried? Great. So, you have completed the puzzle. Blue to the top. Okay. Now also I am receiving answers. Shubham, I can see your answer, but you have to answer fast so that your answers appears at the top because I have 100 plus responses. I can only respond to the top ones. I can see everyone's response. Okay? So be fast when you are responding. That is what I can recommend. Okay. So, so before we start, let me ask you. Now we are moving to the today's topic. We are done with the riddles, we are done with the puzzles and your games. Let's move on to today's topic, that is NLP, that is natural language processing. So before starting, a simple question from you all. How many of you send messages on WhatsApp every day? How many of you sends WhatsApp? Harshita, Shubham. Now Shubham is very quick. Okay, Omkar, Katyal. Okay, a lot of people. Okay. Second, how many of you check emails every day? How many of you check emails? That is very rare in case of students. Likhit checks email every day. Okay. Shri Ganesh. Okay. Smriti checks it. And the last, how many of you watch YouTube every day? Me. Okay. A lot of people is fan of YouTube. Rohan, me. Okay. Okay. So, see exactly what we are doing in all the apps we discussed, WhatsApp, YouTube, emails. We all are generating and consuming both ways a huge amount of text on everyday basis, sometimes without even realizing it. And this brings us to an important concept, that is the explosion of the text data. Okay, in your point of view, what do you think? On daily basis, give me two examples in which you are creating a data, you are generating some data. Two examples in which you are contributing in generation of the data on daily basis. Okay, I can see Chat GPT, Google, content creation. Okay, Manu. Harshita says making resume, making to-do list. Okay. Others says not every day. Okay. Assessing internet. Okay. So we have many more responses. So when we are chatting on WhatsApp, we daily send message to someone, at least a person. Not if you are not addicted to phone, at least you send message to a single person once a day, right? Or more persons. We listen. You you upload images on weekly basis, or when you are uh, calling someone, you daily call someone, at least a one person. So in that case, in all these scenarios, what we are doing, we are creating some data, generating some data, right? And okay, give me two examples in which you are consuming the data. Give me two examples in which you are consuming the data. These were the examples in which you were generating the data. But आप consume किस केस में कर रहे हो? Social media, right? Instagram, okay. Reel watching, YouTube serving, Ujjwal. Addicted to Instagram. Okay, Shri Ganesh, watching movies. Others, same YouTube that we watch. Okay, others. So I can see a lot of YouTube lovers, GPT and other website. Okay. So see, herein how we are consuming the data is YouTube, movies, any video. If we are reading a mail, if we are watching some video, if we are listening to music, we are consuming data, right? So the data is being generated and consumed in ample amount of daily basis, right? So for every second, massive amount of data is created across the world. This is the data which you mentioned you are generating. Now think about the whole world. How much data it is generated in the whole world, across the whole world, through WhatsApp messages, emails, tweets, or social media posts, or we can say YouTube comments, or when a customer is using something, they give feedbacks, they complaints, right? So million of people are constantly typing, sharing opinions, asking questions, and giving feedback, right? So language data is growing extremely fast. Now okay, imagine a popular company that sells products online. So what kind of data they would be generating or they would be having? If a popular company that sell products online, what kind of data they would receive? Feedback, right, Harshita? Customer feedback again. Katyal answers. Okay. Inventory data, Gayatri says. Others, data related to preferred topics of user and feedback. Others, okay, right. Harshita, customer queries. Right. That company would have thousands of customer complaints, product reviews, feedback messages, and support requests, right? Now think about this. Can humans manually read and analyze this amount of text every day? What do you think? Arshita says no, others says no. Exactly, because it would take too much time, efforts, and resources to do that. So, to handle this amount of data on daily basis, we need something, and that something is called as natural language processing. So, NLP basically helps us. So before moving to this, what NLP helps us in? It helps computers to read this large amount of text which we are getting, understanding its meaning, identifying the important information, and automate the decision making for us. Like if we talked about a company, right? So company analyze customer reviews automatically. Chatbots respond to customer queries instantly. So all of this becomes possible because of natural language processing, right? Okay, so let's think for a moment. Humans are great at understanding language, right? We can easily understand text messages from friends, or a tone of someone. Means if I am talking in a sad tone, you would ask me that, how are you? What happened? Why are you sad? Right? You can understand the emotions behind the words or context in which the conversation is going, which is a joke or which is a serious conversation, right? So all of this comes naturally to us. But now look at the computers. So what do you think? Computer understands emotions. What do you think? But others says, but computer can't. Right? Exactly. Gayatri says no, 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 no. Okay. Right. So computers cannot understand emotions. Computers, on the other understand, cannot in fact understand our language also. So at the back end, what computer understands? Only numbers, that is zeros and ones. If you remember in the previous session, we discussed how images are being processed. Deep learning में हम images input देते थे, वो किस में convert होती थी? In which thing images were converted in the deep learning models? Images किस में convert होती थी? We studied that in the previous session. Pixels, right? Right, Gayatri. It is, a lot of people are answering pixels, others right. Okay. So you remember, so the images was also converted to the numbers, that was zeros and ones. Similarly happens with the text data as well. The computers do not understand our text. They understand only numbers, that is zeros and ones. They understand the instructions of us. They understand coding language. So if you type a sentence in plain English, like we just did in the game or the puzzle we did, that was the tower game, a computer was not understanding the English as we were seeing it or as we were typing. They were converting it to the numbers. So, and this is where NLP comes into play, right? So this gap between the human understanding and the computer understanding is filled because of natural language processing. Understood? Understood till here? Mention yes in the chat if you are with me. Then we will move forward. Others. Okay, yes, yes, yes. Okay, great, everyone. Okay, so let's understand this. So let's think about something like humans use language effortlessly, like every day. But for computers, we know that language is really hard. Can we guess why? Can we guess why? Why it is hard for computers to understand the language? Why it is hard for computers to understand the language? What do you think? Okay, it is hard, I know, because of their low understanding power. Okay. You think computers don't have a good understanding power? They know zero and one only. Shubham. Because sometimes the word is written in another language something is wrong. Okay. Based on RAM working. Okay. No particular rules, Gayatri says, because they only understand zero and one. Okay. Leave about computer. What do you think? Human language is complex or easy? What do you think? Leave the computers apart for now. What do you think? Human language is easy or complex? Others says complex. Okay. Gayatri says easy. Complex. Okay. Complex for some, easy for some. Okay. Okay. So see, our language has a structure, but it's not fixed. So why we say that human language is complex? So the ones who think it is complex, yes, it is complex. Why? Because it does not have a predefined or a set structure. It is not fixed. Words can have multiple meanings. Language is context dependent, right? The meaning changes depending on the situation. For example, if I say a bat, what do you understand by bat? B-A-T. What do you understand by B-A-T? Bat. One says in our thinking it's easy. Okay. Cricket, a bird, cricket, a bird or a thing, bird. Okay. So I can see some people writing cricket, some people writing bird, and some are writing both. So see how we choose the word. If I say, I saw a bat fly out of the cave at dusk. So it refers to what thing? What is bat here? Okay, I received. It is a bird, right? It refers to the flying mammal or the bird. Now, if I say the baseball player or the baseball player, let's say, picked up his favorite bat before heading to the plate, it refers to which bat? Object, that is bat with which we play, right? So now we have same word, but we have different meanings. So that is why we say that it is a context dependent language. That is why we say that is complex. It will, okay, others says it will take keywords, bat, fly as keywords and search for similarities. Right. You are right somewhat. Okay. So we have new words, we have slangs, we have idioms which emerge constantly. So computers cannot rely on fixed dictionaries. We don't have a fixed dictionary for our language. Right? Because similar words like bark, date, write, run, same word can have different meanings depending upon the context in which they are used, right? So we can say language has a structure, but it is not fixed structure. So human language is complex, it's constantly evolving, and it is context dependent, right? That is why we say that natural language is hard for computers to understand. We cannot just give computers the rules and expect them to always get it right? Because there is just too much of variations, right? Okay. So let's start with our topic. What is natural language? What is natural language? You can see on the screen also, but in your terms, what is natural language? Obviously, the language we usually we use naturally or we usually use, that is a natural language every day to communicate with others. Either you use Haryanvi, you use Telugu, you use any other language, you use Tamil, you use any language to communicate with others. That is your natural language, right? Now it includes your two types of languages. Gayatri says mode of communication, right? Which we use in our daily life, right? Ujjwal says human language, right? So it includes both type of languages. It is a spoken language as well as your written language. Now we use it in text images, text messages, emails, voice conversations, or even in our social media posts, right? So basically, natural language is how humans communicate normally without any special codes or programming. And what is NLP now? What is NLP? It is the technology that helps computers understand this human language. So, all right, now we are going to explore natural language processing. Till now, we covered what natural language is, why our natural language is difficult for computers to understand, and why we need natural language processing, right? Okay, so let me first ask you, everyone, how many of you have ever talked to a chatbot? How many of you have ever talked to a chatbot? Chatbot से किसने बात की है? Ujjwal says me, others says me. Okay, me every day. Okay, Shubham talks to chatbot every day. Omkar says me. Okay, okay. So, and how many of you have used Siri, Alexa, or Google Assistant? Any of the three? किस किसने Siri, Alexa या Google Assistant use किया? Me. Which? Siri. Okay, Gayatri has used Google Assistant. Adarsh, me. Okay. Shubham says Gemini, out of the box. Omkar, Google Assistant. Great. Katyal says Google Assistant. Okay. Okay. So I can see a lot of responses. So all of you have used these things, right? Now, exactly. These are all the examples wherein computers are trying to understand a human language. So अब सोचो लाइक इफ जब हम गूगल ट्रांसलेट में टाइप करते हैं या वॉइस असिस्टेंट से भी टॉक, सो कंप्यूटर क्या करता है बेसिकली? व्हाट डू यू थिंक कंप्यूटर क्या करता है उस टाइम पे? when we are talking to a Google Assistant or voice assistant, or we are translating something in Google, we are typing something in Google Translate, what does a computer do? What do you think? Analyzing, I got one answer. Decode, Spooty says, okay. It understands our language. Okay. Others is convert it into tokens. Okay. Others is well aware of tokens. Ujjwal, speech to text, then to binary. Okay, means you are trying to say it converts into the numbers. Gayatri says tokens. Okay, great. So what it do is the computer is not just showing words, it is actually reading, interpreting और समझ रहा है कि हम क्या बोल रहे हैं, right? And इस technology को हम specifically क्या बोलते हैं? Natural language processing. Now let's understand. We need NLP, right? So why do we need it? What is the problem? So we discussed it. What do you think? What is the problem? Why we need it? Let me see the responses. How quick you are. Why we need it? Okay, human language. I can see some responses. Bridge gap between the computer and human, right? To solve our problem. Katyal, which problem I am asking? I'm asking about the problem only. What is the problem? Okay, because everyone cannot write code to give problems every time to interact with computer. Okay, so basically the problem is simple, that we humans communicate in natural language, but computers understand only numbers, data, and the code. And the challenge is to make computer understand meaning, context, and intent from the human language. And the solution is natural language processing, which bridges the gap between the human language and the computer understanding, allowing what? Machines to read, interpret, and respond intelligently. This is what which powers chatbots, translators, voice assistants, your Siri, Alexa, Gemini voice assistants, and many more real world applications, including which you mentioned in the chat, right? So let's see ki NLP in our daily life. See, natural language processing is not just a concept, it's already part of our life. Like, for example, you mentioned that if when Google predicts what you are typing, or when website chatbots give you instant responses, when voice assistants like Alexa, Siri understand your commands. You say, Siri, please set the alarm for 9 a.m. It understands your commands, right? Or when your app provides the instant language translation. All of these use NLP. So we can say NLP is everywhere around us, right? Making communication between humans and the machine easier. And don't worry, we will discuss these every application in the detail and at the end of the session. Let's understand for now how they actually work, means how NLP actually work, right? So now let's understand why business need NLP. Why business need NLP? What do you think? What do you think? Why business need NLP? So today the companies deal with huge amount of data, as we discussed, customer queries, feedbacks, reviews, online searches. So you tell me, like, आपको कोई issue आता है, like in Zomato, what you do? First thing you do when you face any issue in Zomato, क्या करते हो आप? If you face any issue in Zomato, Swiggy, what you do? Customer support, complaint, Gayatri, complaint, where? Others, customer care, right? Complaint. Who says complaint? Complaint, where do you complain? That is my question. There would be some process of complaining also, right? Where you approach as the first step? Rohan says customer care. Gayatri says email. Okay. Manu says customer care. Okay. Shivam says customer care. Okay. Okay, Muskan says customer care service. Right. So we go to the customer care services. You guys are right that we approach customer care services. But as soon as you enter, we have a help option or a customer care option. There is no number mentioned, right? So what is the first thing you interact with? A bot, right? Whenever you go to a customer care or you go to the help option in your applications, first thing you interact with is a bot, right? After that, what happens? You interact with a bot. उसके बाद क्या होता है? This is a common thing which you might face कि आपको कोई issue है. You go to the help after that, or you go to the customer care option in the application. There is a bot with which you interact. Numbers, click for option, right? Shivam says bot sends email. Okay. लिखित complaint forums. Okay. Translation on languages, customer details, product details. Okay, right. So whenever we go on the customer care or we open the support option of the application, we first interact with the bot, and when your query is out of the box, which is not between in the listed in the options, what happens next? You are allotted with the agent, right? A live agent who can talk. That is a person, human being, right? आपको एक agent allot हो जाता है, which resolves your query. But what happens if your query is resolved through that frequent steps only? Shivam says bot try to solve our problem, right? If the bot is able to solve your problem, आपको human connect नहीं करवाया जाता, right? But अगर आपको उन options में से नहीं आपका answer और solution होता, what happens? They redirect your query to the humans. What is the reason for this? Why this process is made? What do you think? What do you think ये process बनाया क्यों? वो directly human से क्यों नहीं आपका interact करवाते? Why don't they assign the agent directly to you instead of a bot first? What do you think? Okay, I can see responses. Reduce the work, reduce the work. Manpower reduce. Okay. Less people can work and cost is reduced for company. Agent for out of the option of bot. Right, Shivam. Harshita, account, several variations of same language. Okay. Right. So many of you are saying it right because manual handling of all this information is very difficult and time consuming. So what businesses are doing right now, they are building the bots so that they can handle low level of queries through the bots, and if there is a high concern of a customer, that is redirected to the person or a labor means manual person. So businesses use NLP for several important applications. One of those we discussed right now. For example, like search engines, they use NLP to understand what users are looking for and they provide better search results. Or in fraud detection, NLP helps identify suspicious messages, right? If some messages are suspicious or an unusual pattern is there, that is highlighted. For customer support, we just discussed chatbots. They automatically respond to the queries and they provide the quick assistance. And in customer feedback analysis, now companies are what doing? They are analyzing your feedbacks, your reviews your through bots, through NLP, what you are writing, right? And what your reviews, comments, they are trying to understand to increase the customer satisfaction and to increase the business. Similarly, in Instagram, we automatically gets a warning. If there is some sensitive content, if any content includes violence or there is inappropriate, not right content, we get a warning automatically, right? So overall, NLP helps business for automation, of responses, improving the efficiency, and make better decisions by understanding the human language at a scale. That is the main purpose, right? So let's move further. What makes NLP powerful? What do you think? Apart from this, which is mentioned here, what makes NLP powerful? We have seen multiple use cases. We have discussed multiple use cases for now. Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, or your chat customer support bots, real-time understanding. Okay. Why do you think NLP is powerful? Or what makes this technology useful in the today's world? What do you think? Okay. Understanding human language, real-time understanding, deeper understanding. Okay. If machine understands our language and data, right? Okay. To understand our human language. Okay. So I have multiple responses wherein I am getting the responses that to understand so that machines could understand the human language. Now, good answers. See, NLP पावरफुल है क्योंकि ये ह्यूमंस और मशीन के बीच का कम्युनिकेशन को फास्ट करते हैं. इट ईजेस दैट आउट और मोर इंटेलिजेंट बना देता है. सोचो मीन्स पहले हम कंप्यूटर्स कैसे काम करते थे, सीखना पड़ता था, राइट? पहले कंप्यूटर सीखना पड़ता था. काम कैसे करते थे? हम सिखाते थे, कंप्यूटर सीखते थे. अब कंप्यूटर्स और ह्यूमन कम्युनिकेट करते हैं, कम्युनिकेशन को समझना सीख रहे हैं, राइट? पहले हम कंप्यूटर्स को सीख रहे थे, अब कंप्यूटर्स हमें सीख रहे हैं. दैट इज वाइस वर्सा गोइंग ऑन. सो ये शिफ्ट एनएलपी को एक्सट्रीमली इम्पैक्टफुल बना रहा है कि इट इज रिवर्स्ड. अर्लियर वी यूज टू टीच स्टूडेंट्स लाइक कंप्यूटर सीखो, कंप्यूटर सीखो. कंप्यूटर सीखना इज स्टिल इम्पोर्टेंट बट रिवर्स पहले नहीं होता था. बट अब it is going reverse also, that we computers are understanding humans, they are trying to understand us, we are training that, right? So let's explore step by step that uh how many of you have seen instant replies from chatbots that we have discussed, and how we get directed to the bots and then to the agents that we have discussed, right? Now, is it possible that it happens, this bots system happens because NLP enables faster communication? What do you think? The example which we discussed, that we are directed to the bots, ये क्यों होता है? ये इसलिए होता है कि NLP enable कर रहा है कि faster communication through bots. This can be the reason. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, a lot of yeses I am getting. Yes, because machine can process the language quickly. If I receive 100 of queries, it would take time for me to read through every query. Better NLP, faster response, right, Adarsh? Absolutely right. Because machine can process language quickly and provide instant responses, which automatically saves time, improves our efficiency. Instead of waiting for manual support, users get help immediately for low-level queries. Now, one more question. If we have two different languages, means we have two people, अगर दो लोग हैं जो different languages बोलते हैं, तो क्या वो communicate कर सकते हैं easily? Can they communicate easily if two people are there who speak different languages? What do you think? No, no, it is difficult. No, one says yes. Shubham says never. Maybe. Okay. Rohan says no. No. Ujjwal says no, no, no. Okay. Sneha says no. Okay. Okay, right. So means it is difficult. Difficult हो जाता है normally कि if we two people, if you don't understand my language, it would be very difficult for you to understand मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ, मैं क्या समझा रही हूँ, right? But NLP के साथ system languages को instantly translate कर सकते हैं. राइट? इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? मल्टीलिंगुअल सपोर्ट. What we call it? Multilingual support. That NLP language barriers को break करता है by allowing machines, so that machines are helping us to understand multiple languages, और उसको translate करने में भी help करता है, जिससे communication globally accessible है. Like if I don't understand, for example, if I don't understand something written in German and I go to Germany, what I can do? I can open my phone, go on the Google translator, and automatically convert that whatever it is written, convert it to English or Hindi, which I understand, right? So it is making our communication accessible globally. That is the most powerful thing. Now, next thing, if we were talking about repetitive tasks like answering common customer questions or sorting emails, do you think humans should spend time doing the same task again and again? What do you think? Should humans spend time to do the same task again and again? No, no, no. Right, probably not, because NLP can help us automate such tasks. It allows the machine to handle the repetitive tasks like responding to the queries as we discussed, right, to customer queries, or to processing multiple messages, or organizing test data. This improves the productivity, basically. Right. अब सोचो, like when you go to Netflix, you go to YouTube or online platforms. यूज करते हो सारे? Everyone use online platforms, shopping platforms, Netflix. Yes, yes. Okay. Okay, Gayatri says no. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Shivan says yes. Ujjwal says yes. Okay. So most of us use Netflix, YouTube, ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स, राइट? सो आप सबने क्या नोटिस किया? आपने नोटिस किया है कि आपकी प्रेफरेंसेस के बेसिस पर आपको कंटेंट रिकमेंड करते हैं सारी एप्लीकेशंस, राइट? ये कैसे पॉसिबल है? दिस वी डिस्कस्ड प्रीवियसली ऑल्सो इन द सेशंस, हाउ इट इज पॉसिबल. बाय एल्गोरिदम्स, राइट? ओके, partially right. Model, algorithm, NLP, deep learning using algorithm, NLP, algorithms and patterns. Manu says algorithms and patterns. Great. Right, everyone. So, means you are partially or fully correct, most of you, that there are algorithms, there are models, but how they are understanding our interaction. Means if I am writing, I'm searching shirt, a black shirt, for example, on Mintra, how it is understanding my language, English language, right? That is possible through NLP. But at the back end, you are right, models and algorithms are working, but our interactions, making our interactions accessible, understandable for the machine, that is becoming possible through NLP. जिसकी वजह से क्या हो रहा है? Apps are giving us personalized services, and our customer satisfaction is increasing. Our engagement is increasing, right? So we can see n number of things: better experience, faster communication, that is there, and real time understanding, which makes NLP powerful. So let's understand now how NLP actually works. Coming to our major topic. Okay, so when we interact with any NLP system, right? So first step, what is the first step you think? You just saw a NLP system. What is the first step? Let me see the chat. Okay. What is the first step? I can see few responses. Input, okay. Rohan says human input. Okay, that you can see on the screen. Input, Likhit says input. Okay, input. Others says input. Query. Query is the type of input, Others, indeed. Okay, right. So when we interact with any NLP system, the first step is human input. Means this input can be in the form of text, speech, like sending a message as we discussed, speaking to a voice assistant as we discussed, or typing a search query. Now, once the system receives the input, what happens next step? Next step होता है कंप्यूटर प्रोसेस करता है, लाइक सिस्टम लैंग्वेज को एनालाइज करता है. वी डिवाइड द सेंटेंस इनटू स्मॉल पार्ट्स. हम सेंटेंस को छोटे पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करते हैं, ब्रेक करते हैं, राइट, सो दैट मशीन क्या कर सके, पैटर्न्स को समझ सके, वो स्ट्रक्चर को समझने की कोशिश करता है. देन कम्स आवर थर्ड पार्ट, दैट इज अंडरस्टैंडिंग. And then comes our fourth part. Finally, the system provides a response based on the understanding, and it generates an appropriate output like answering a question, translating text, or giving a recommendation. Right? Okay, so let's see one by one. First thing, extracting important information. First NLP, as I said, first NLP, we give the input. So how we extract the information? How NLP extracts the information? How it identifies which are the important words, which are the important phrases, which words can be ignored, which words to be taken into consideration. Breaking down query into tokens, others, right? Sending text, okay. Let me go at the top. What do you think? Means NLP, how it NLP machine or system decides that which phrase, which word is important from the text. Okay, meaning. Less repeated word, Harshita says, okay. Less repeated, more frequent word, right? Ujjwal says setting priority. Okay, somewhat you are right. That like instead of reading the entire document like humans, how we figure out? We read out the entire document, right? So this is what system do. It does not read out the entire document. It scans the content and highlights the key information that carries meaning. It focuses on the relevant terms, keywords, important parts of a sentence to understand what the text is mainly about. What is the context of what is written? Right. Now, see, now NLP automatically identifies the names that if it is written, Ram is going to London. So it will automatically figure out Ram is a name, London is a place. So NLP has that power कि वो automatically name, places, dates वो identify करता है. जैसे अगर सेंटेंस में किसी पर्सन का नेम है या लोकेशन है, as I gave you the example, या डेट है, so system can easily detect that. Now, इससे क्या होता है, इससे मशीन को टेक्स्ट की इंपॉर्टेंस पता लगती है, कॉन्टेक्स्ट समझ आता है, कॉन्टेक्स्ट समझने में हेल्प मिलती है बिना ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन के, राइट? हियर वी डोंट इंटरवीन इन बिटवीन. नाउ अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट फंक्शन व्हाट वी हैव इज लाइक converting. What do you think that around us the data is in the structured format or unstructured? What do you think? Data is in the structured format on or unstructured? Most of the data, majority data I am asking. Harshita says unstructured. I got one answers both. Others says unstructured, unstructured. Right. So see, most of the data are unstructured. We have a structured also. I agree to that. But mostly what data we get is unstructured. And the most important function is of NLP machine is to convert the unstructured data into the structured data. Because जो raw text आते हैं, like emails आते हैं, messages आते हैं, या सोशल मीडिया पोस्ट होते हैं, दे डोंट हैव अ फिक्स्ड फॉर्मेट, राइट? व्हिच मेक्स द एनालिसिस और अंडरस्टैंडिंग, पहले ही वी हैव डिस्कस्ड कि लैंग्वेज समझना मशीन के लिए बहुत मुश्किल है, राइट? अब इफ वी गिव अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड या हम रॉ फॉर्मेट में मशीन को डेटा देने लग जाएंगे तो उसके लिए समझना और डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा, राइट? सो देयर एनएलपी हेल्प्स टू कन्वर्ट unstructured data into structured so that machine can understand that, analyze that more efficiently. So NLP organizes the information into categories, as I mentioned, person, लोकेशन, प्लेस, डेट, ये सब कैटेगराइज करती है, राइट? उसको स्ट्रक्चर फॉर्मेट में कन्वर्ट करती है सो दैट मशीन एनालाइज कर सके एफिशिएंटली, राइट? एंड द लास्ट थिंग व्हाट एनएलपी डू इज सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट, दैट इट हेल्प्स एनालाइज लार्ज डॉक्यूमेंट्स। जो मेजर चीज थी, हमने अभी तक जो डिस्कस किया कि जो कस्टमर क्वेरीज लार्ज अमाउंट में आती है वो ह्यूमंस नहीं हैंडल कर पाते, राइट? तो इसलिए वहां पे बोट्स यूज करते हैं कि वो क्वेरी समझ पाए। सो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट बेनिफिट यही है हमारे अराउंड इन रियल वर्ल्ड एप्लीकेशंस, दैट एनएलपी लार्ज डॉक्यूमेंट्स को बहुत क्विकली एनालाइज कर सकता है, जहां ह्यूमंस को आवर्स लग सकते हैं। इफ आई गेट अ PDF of 10 pages, it would take 1 hour to read through it, analyze, have some pointers, or give you something out of it, output out of it, either a summary, either a analysis or something, right? अब यही सेम चीज हम जब चैट जीपीटी को देते हैं, it takes seconds, right? It takes seconds. Have you tried summarizing a document or a PDF using chat GPT or Gemini? How much time did it take for you? How much time did it take? I can see a lot of yes. How much time did it take for you to do that? Few seconds. Few seconds. Few seconds. Absolutely right. Because वहां पे भी in chat gpt also we have NLP. chat gpt, have you noticed कि आप chat gpt से इंग्लिश में बात करते हो वो इंग्लिश में रिस्पॉन्स करता है। आप लेमैन टर्म्स में, लेमैन टर्म्स मतलब आप व्हाट्सएप की अपने जैसे चैट करते हो, आप वैसे बात करते हो, हिंदी इंग्लिश मिक्स, वो आपको हिंदी इंग्लिश मिक्स में भी आंसर देता है। इफ यू टॉक इन French, it gives the answer in French also. So we can say that chat GPT जो हम डेली यूज कर रहे हैं, that is also a application of NLP only, राइट? तो जहां हमारे ह्यूमंस को आवर्स लग सकते हैं कुछ करने में, एक टास्क करने में, वहीं मशीन सेकंड्स में उस यूज डेटा को स्कैन करके हमें यूजफुल इंफॉर्मेशन निकाल के देती है। सो इससे क्या हो रहा है? टाइम भी सेव हो रहा है, प्रोडक्टिविटी भी हो रही है और एफिशिएंसी भी इंक्रीज हो रही है, राइट? Now, let's move on to one thing which is very important, which we discussed, that complexity. Complexity, or we can say ambiguity. We know that one sentence have multiple meanings, right? We discussed that one sentence, or we can say one words also have different meanings, right? So one of the biggest challenge in NLP, which we have discussed also, is ambiguity. Means एक single sentence can have multiple meanings. एक ही वर्ड के हमने अभी देखा that bat can be two types, mammal also, playing bat also, right? So same word or sentence can be interpreted in different ways depending upon context, situations. Now humans के लिए वो समझना बहुत easy है, because we have that ability to understand, we have the contextual power, we have the emotional power, but for machines it becomes very confusing, right? So एक ही word के अलग अलग meaning हो सकते हैं जो हमने देखा. Now humans naturally use the context to understand the correct meaning, जैसे we did in the case of bat. We look at how we look at the meaning, we look at the surrounding words. जब मैंने आपसे पूछा what is bat, मीन्स बैट का क्या मतलब है, आपने, किसी ने मेरे को बर्ड बोला, किसी ने, समवन मेंशनड अ ऑब्जेक्ट, समवन मेंशनड बोथ, बस as soon as I mentioned the whole sentence, जैसे ही मैंने आपको full sentence I narrated, you answered me bird for the first one, right? As soon as I mentioned the second sentence, what you mentioned? A object or a playing bat, right? So what we do, हम क्या देखते हैं, एक वर्ड के उससे पहले के लेटर वर्ड्स एंड उसके बाद के वर्ड्स देखते हैं टू अंडरस्टैंड कि वो किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बोली गई है बात, या वो वर्ड किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में यूज करा गया है, ठीक है? लेकिन मशीन्स के लिए ये चीज बहुत अनक्लियर है, बहुत एम्बिगुअस है, चैलेंजिंग होता है. सो कंप्यूटर को कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑटोमेटिकली समझना नहीं आता, इसलिए एनएलपी सिस्टम्स स्पेशली ट्रेन करे जाते हैं, या एनएलपी सिस्टम्स को स्पेशली ट्रेन करना पड़ता है ताकि वो करेक्ट मीनिंग आइडेंटिफाई कर सके, राइट? सो बेस्ड ऑन दिस वी हैव डन अ लॉट ऑफ थ्योरी. let's let's back, let's have some quick activity, let's do some detective game. So we would have one meaning detective game. In this challenge, what you will do, you will have the same word used in different situations. And what would be your task? Your task would be to identify the correct meaning using the context. Remember, The word can have multiple meanings as we discussed, and understanding the surrounding sentence, there would be a hint given. You have to see the sentence, give me the context and the meaning, right meaning of the word. All right. So let's begin the round one. Here is the word bank. So you can look at carefully at the two different sentences we have in both situations. Tell me in the chat, what does it mean? Ujjwal. Okay, I got the first answer from Ujjwal. Shivam, you can have a water if you want to. It's an online class. There is no need for the permission. Okay, I have a lot of answers. Okay, so first sentence was, she sat near the bank and watched the water. Think about this for a moment. What clues do you see here? I have received a lot of answers. The sentence mentions sat near and watched the water. What kind of bank could it be? As you mentioned, most of you mentioned river, right? So let's see the answer first, river, right? Now, here, what we noticed is the word water in the sentence. This gives us an important clue. Since she is sitting near water, the word bank here refers to the edge of a river, not any building. And in the second sentence, what was the second sentence? He went to the bank to withdraw money. So the clue here was, what was the clue here to identify the word meaning or the context? Money, right. Withdraw money is the clue here. That tells that the word bank refers to a place where financial transaction happens. Right. So in this case, financial institution. Okay. So let's move to the round two. This we have discussed. So we can skip this. Let's move to the third one. So third we have is a rapid fire in which no hint would be given and you have to tell me the meaning. Two meanings. You have to figure out the meaning on your own by carefully analyzing it. Light. Okay, I got one answer, Rajkumar. Okay, others gave me both the answers. Okay, Shivam gave me one answer. Shivam gave me bulb, one gave me light source. Okay, okay. One says weight and bright source, sunlight, tube light, light weighted. Right. Okay, so if I give you first sentence, turn on the light, what it means? The phrase turn on the light. Which light? Bulb. Okay. Which word clues you for that it is a bulb or a bright source? Turn on the light. Which word clues for that? Turn on. Right. Great, Harshita. Means the phrase turn on gives us a clue that we usually turn on something that gives brightness or a visibility. So here, light refers to illumination. Right. Now, the bag is very light. The bag is very light. What do you think is this? Bag is the clue. Okay, I got the answer. Bag is the clue. Wait. Others right. Lot of people are answering wait, Harshita, wait, lightweight, Ujjwal says wait. Okay, right. So here light means weight, that it's not heavy. And which clue is it's giving? Back, right? So we just saw that how understanding the context is very important. So first light was illumination and the second was not heavy, right? So we just saw that why understanding the context is very important, because in the ambiguity activity we saw that it's not only about words but also about context. So situation always matters, because the meaning of a word depends upon where and when it is used. So this we can see the same word can have completely different meanings in different sentences. So that is why NLP focuses on pattern learning, where systems learn the contextual patterns from large amount of data to understand meaning more accurately, right? So this helps the computers to reduce the confusion, and they are able to interpret the human language more effectively. Okay, so we have seen why context is important to remove the ambiguity. What is ambiguity we have in the natural language? Let's move on to the next step, that is our NLP processing steps. So we have 4 steps as you can see on your screen. First step we have is our input collection. Second, इनपुट कलेक्शन जहाँ पे हमारे पास डेटा आता है सारा यूजर से, किसी साइट से आप स्क्रैप कर रहे हो साइट, आपको किसी ने डेटा दिया है वर्क करने के लिए या आपने डाउनलोड किया है कहीं से, दैट इज योर इनपुट कलेक्शन. अब इनपुट किसी भी फॉर्म में हो सकता है, राइट? टेक्स्ट हो सकता है, टेक्स्ट लाइक मैसेजेस, ईमेल्स, कोई सर्च क्वेरी है, कोई रिव्यू है आपका, और इट कैन बी स्पीच लाइक व्हेन वी टॉक टू अ वॉइस असिस्टेंट. सो दिस इज द स्टेज जहाँ पे ह्यूमंस कम्युनिकेट करते हैं मशीन के साथ. Without input, system process ही नहीं कर पाएगा language. So this step is the raw language data to be taken into the machine from the user. Right? Second step is text cleaning. Do you think text cleaning is important? If yes, why? Do you think text cleaning is important? Mention in the chat. Yes, Harshita says for no error. Yes, yes. Okay. Rohan says yes, I open window. Okay. Shivam says yes, extra blank remove. Okay. To reduced incorrect output, Likhit says absolutely right. Okay, so majority of you mentioned that yes, text cleaning is important. Why? Like यहाँ सिस्टम रॉ टेक्स्ट को प्रोसेस करने लायक बनाता है. मतलब व्हाट इज टेक्स्ट क्लीनिंग और टेक्स्ट प्रोसेस, जहाँ पे सिस्टम टेक्स्ट को इस फॉर्मेट में कन्वर्ट कर रहा है कि हम उस पर काम कर सके. बिकॉज जो हमें डेटा मिलता है दैट इज नॉट इन द फॉर्मेट हम डायरेक्टली उस पर काम कर सकते हैं. रियल वर्ल्ड डेटा यूजुअली क्लीन नहीं होता. वी हैव जैसे few of you mentioned here remove extra spaces. We have many extra spaces in our real time data. We have punctuation, we have special characters, we have unnecessary words हो सकते हैं उसमें, like if I am writing price or if I am typing something in the Excel sheet, it happens by mistake a dot is there, a question mark is there, that can be inputted. And eventually जब आप उस पे वर्क करते हो तो even dot makes the effect in your accuracy. Even your spaces affects your accuracy, right? So सिस्टम इन सबको रिमूव करता है और टेक्स्ट को एक सिंपल फॉर्मेट में कन्वर्ट कर देता है ताकि हम मशीन को समझा सके या मशीन समझ पाए. Now in this particular step, we have different techniques. That is tokenization, lemmatization, stemming, that we will be learning it further, right? So next slide is about this also. Now after cleaning, what we have is understanding the meaning. So यहाँ पे NLP क्या करता है? एनालाइज करता है कि जो प्रोसेस्ड टेक्स्ट है वो आइडेंटिफाई करता है उसका इंटेंट क्या है, उसका कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्या है. वी हैव सीन कि कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? सो वो उसका इंटेंट, कॉन्टेक्स्ट, रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द वर्ड्स, इन सब चीजों को अंडरस्टैंड करता है. सो इन द थर्ड स्टेप what system is doing? Trying to understand what the user actually wants, not just the word themselves, right? So for example, it identifies the purpose of a question. It detects emotions. If I am saying the product is amazing, but UI is not good, so it is a mixed comment. So अब सिस्टम समझने की कोशिश करेगा कि मैंने किस सेंस में ये बोला, ठीक है? So that is the stage of understanding the meaning. And final step is response generation, कि जब सिस्टम लैंग्वेज को समझ चुका है, टेक्स्ट क्लीन है, प्रोसेस है, उसको अंडरस्टैंड करके हमें एक आउटपुट दे रहा है. अब वो आउटपुट क्या हो सकता है? What will be the response generation? आउटपुट क्या क्या हो सकता है? Answer in the chat. What all forms of output we can have, or what forms of response generation we can have? What do you think? What can be the output? Okay, text, images. Okay. Others, what can be the response generation? Some have answered text, text, images. Okay. Ujjwal says image, text, speech, video. Okay, all of it as at once. Text. Omkar says text. So response can be a text, image, or recommendation हो सकती है, translation हो सकती है. If I am doing a translation from English to Hindi, it can be a translation. या कोई एक्शन परफॉर्म करवा सकते हैं हम, जैसे चैटबॉट रिप्लाई देता है, असिस्टेंट वॉइस असिस्टेंट हमारा रिस्पॉन्स दे रहा है, राइट? सर्च इंजन है जैसे गूगल है, वो को हमारे रिजल्ट शो कर रहा है. तो सिंपल वर्ड्स में मशीन इनपुट को समझकर उसके मीनिंगफुल रिस्पॉन्स देती है, जैसे एक ह्यूमंस कर रहे हैं कि I am explaining you something, you are getting that is getting into your head. Some of you are not understanding, some of you are trying to understand it, and then you would be applying that in your real life, right? So let's understand our major part. Input we already know. We will see the steps of our the second step. That was our text cleaning. So you can see, okay, what happens is if I have a big paragraph, for example, I have one page paragraph. So that is broken down into small parts, right? So for example, I have, this is a sample text. So if this line, if I apply tokenization into it, it is break down into words, right? So if I, this sentence, I love AI, it can be after tokenization, it can be converted to I love AI, this form. So what is tokenization basically? It is basically a process way of breaking a sentence into smaller parts. और उन parts को क्या बोलते हैं? ये आप बताओगे, because you, I have heard this answer from a lot of people in the chat. What this small words or parts called as? Manu says tokens, right? Other says tokens. Okay. Gayatri, tokens. Lot of people have answered tokens. Right, absolutely right. Because our machines, either it is chat GPT or AI apps, they understand tokens. So that small parts are tokens. For example, we have seen the two examples here. Now that we understand that what tokenization is, why it is important, let's, why do we tokenize, why do we do tokenization? We will come to it. First, let's see a interactive tokenizer activity or visualizer, sorry. So scan this QR code, and once done, mention done in the chat. So we will see that how this tool or how machines break text into tokens using different algorithms. Once done, mention done in the chat. Shivam says chunk. Okay, right. That chunk in the official terms is Shivam termed as tokens only. Okay, a lot of people says done. Let me open it. Okay. So everyone is on the screen. Say yes in the chat if you are. Okay, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so you can see that there is one default line written here. You can use this also, but what is here that you have an input box wherein you will be entering the text and it will split into different tokens. Let's see how it will go. I will remove this and let's use only this. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now, if I click on tokenize, see, we have this whole sentence broken down into words, and you can see that what is this? GPT-2, bot, T5. What is this, guys? Everyone in the chat. What is this? GPT-2, bot, T5. Agents, language models, AI models. Okay, AI chatbots, not exactly chatbots, Ujjwal. These are not chatbots. इसे chatbot नहीं बोलते. Different intelligence. Shivam gave a diplomatic answer. Different intelligence. Wow. Okay. So those who have answered models, these are the models. These are the language models, right? And every model you can see uses different types of tokenization, like GPT-2 is using BPE. BPE is byte pair encoding. What is BPE here? Byte pair encoding. If I talk about BERT is using word piece tokenizer, right? If I talk about T5, it is using sentence piece tokenizer. Now, what is the difference you can see in all the three? Give me a difference. Observe carefully. Tell me the difference between all the three. What difference you observed in all three? See carefully. Or because all of them process the same sentence, but they have divided differently. As you can see, GPT we have 11 tokens. In BERT we have 10 tokens. In T5 we have 12 tokens. Why different tokens? And here in the graph also we have different tokens. Manu says accuracy. Okay. What else? Not accuracy, Manu, completely is the right answer, because as I mentioned that different models, different algorithms optimize for efficiency, vocabulary size, and language understanding. Means different models are using different ways of tokenizers. So we have three tokenizers as shown here, which is GPT-2 BPE, BERT word piece, and T5 sentence piece. And these are three different tokenizers. So see, some tokenizers split words into smaller parts. Some take space into consideration separately. Some takes comma into consideration. Now, if you see, here is a space after dot. So here it is taken into consideration, but in BERT it is not taken into consideration. So here in the GPT I have 11 tokens. In BERT I have 10 tokens. In T5 I have how many tokens? 12 tokens. Here space as well as dot is taken into consideration. So what you are seeing that we have tokenization directly affects how AI is understanding the language, and based on the efficiency of different models, every model uses different tokenization. Right, and you can see the vocabulary browser. What is this vocabulary here? Every model, every algorithm has its own vocabulary. Now, GPT-2 has a vocabulary size of 50,000 tokens. BERT has 30,000 and T5 has 32,000 tokens. Right? So, this is how your tokenizer work. Right? So, did you try this? Have you done this? Did you see that similar sentence can have different token separations or different tokenization? And did different tokenizer behave differently? Right? Done, done, done. A lot of thumbs up. Okay, let's move back to our concepts. So what did we learn here? Basically, we learned that tokenization is the first step in NLP, where text is broken into smaller units. Different models use different algorithms, and is the way the text is split, it affects how machine understand the language. It affects the efficiency of the machines. Right now, let's see the next concept. As I mentioned, lemmatization and stemming. So, what is stemming and lemmatization basically? Any idea? What do you understand by lemmatization and stemming? Have you heard it before? Okay, I know you have completed the activity. Next question. What do you understand by stemming and lemmatization? Gayatri says not heard. Okay, so see, basically now our concept is हमारे पास एक सेंटेंस था, हमारे पास पीडीएफ हो सकती है, हमारे पास बड़ा डेटा हो सकता है, हमने उसको क्या करा, स्मॉल चंक्स में विच इज कॉल्ड एज टोकन्स में डिवाइड कर दिया. राइट, अब नाउ वी नीड टू सिंप्लीफाई दोज वर्ड्स ऑल्सो. राइट, अब एज वी सेड दैट हर वर्ड का एक डिफरेंट मीनिंग होता है, बट व्हाट इफ हम वर्ड्स को ही सिंप्लीफाई करते. So we have two techniques which is used for simplification of the words, that is stemming and lemmatization. दोनों का काम एक ही होता है, just efficiency is different. Now stemming is the stem. Stem क्या होता है? Base, right? तो जब हम एक word को उसके base word में convert करते हैं, when we convert different words into its weight, base word means root word. That is change, changer, changes, change, changing. सबका एक root word common क्या है? Change. Chang is the root word in all this. Similarly, if we do lemmatization, अब stemming में क्या होता है, वो डायरेक्टली आपके वर्ड को रूट वर्ड बेस वर्ड में कन्वर्ट कर देता है, बट वो मीनिंग नहीं देखता कि मीनिंग स्टिल रिटेन्ड है वर्ड का या नहीं. ठीक है, अब Chang हैज नो मीनिंग, but lemmatization is an advanced technique of stemming wherein the meaning of the word is also retained. कि अगर आप इस इन वर्ड्स को इसके रूट वर्ड्स में कन्वर्ट कर रहे हो तो इसका मीनिंग रिटेन्ड रहेगा, तभी यहाँ पे ई साथ में इंक्लूडेड है. तो बेसिकली लेमेटाइजेशन एंड स्टेमिंग इज used for converting your words to their base or root form, and one converts into the root form without seeing the meaning, other sees the meaning. That is your second step in text pre-processing. Now, why cleaning matters? As we discussed that to remove the unnecessary words, right, to remove symbols, errors, and to standardize text into a particular format so that it is prepared for understanding, right? That is why the cleaning is very important. This we have discussed, so I'm not taking much time on this. Okay, now what we have next is how machines learn language. Like if we have सी मीन्स वी हैव अंडरस्टूड कि हम डेटा दे रहे हैं, मशीन समझ रहा है. ठीक है, बट मशीन्स पूरी लैंग्वेज कैसे समझता है? अभी हमने देखा दैट वी हैव डिफरेंट डिफरेंट मॉडल्स, जीपीटी T5, उसमें एक वोकैबुलरी साइज है. वो वोकैबुलरी साइज क्या है? दैट इज अ लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ डेटा दैट इज गिवन इनटू द मॉडल, राइट? सो मशीन्स भी यहाँ पे हम मशीन्स को क्या देते हैं? लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ डेटा देते हैं. तभी आपने देखा होगा जीपीटी का वर्जन्स आते हैं. क्यों वर्जन्स आते हैं? जीपीटी 4.0 हैज सम ऑफ अमाउंट ऑफ डेटा ऑन विच इट इज ट्रेन्ड. जब आप पहले जीपीटी से बात करते थे, जब जीपीटी चैट जीपीटी केम वेरी बेसिक वर्जन केम, it used to give responses sometimes like apologies I cannot answer, apologies I don't have information. It happened. Did it happen in the initial days जब GPT आया with you guys also? Did it happen? Yes or no? ये सबके साथ हुआ है? That it used to say apologies, yes, yes, yes. It was very frequent because वो थोड़े amount of data पे trained था. In as soon as we move forward, जैसे जैसे updations आए, yeah, gibberish answers, right, others, that we used to get sometimes foolish answers, hallucinations comes in, but eventually जैसे जैसे updations आए, now we get very good answers from GPT. You get very amazing images also from chat GPT, right, if we try to create. How? Because now it is trained on large data. So we give large examples, text, patterns on which your machines are trained, continuous practice, and with that your machines improve. फीडबैक से इंप्रूव होती है. हम चैट जीपीटी को कहते हैं नो दिस रिस्पॉन्स इज नॉट गुड, वो फीडबैक लेता है, फिर वो एक अच्छा रिस्पॉन्स देता है आपको. दिस हैपेंस नाउ ऑल्सो, राइट? हमारे पास रिस्पॉन्स अच्छा नहीं आया, आंसर अच्छा नहीं आया, व्हाट वी से, दिस इज नॉट अ गुड आंसर, प्लीज गिव मी सम ऑल्टरनेट आंसर और गिव मी सम ऑल्टरनेट वे. तो वो फीडबैक आपसे लेता है, अपॉलॉजीज, दिस इज द ऑल्टरनेट वे, दिस इज हाउ इट वर्क्स, राइट? So that is how your machines learn language. Now what can NLP do? What can NLP do? This we discuss that it can perform powerful tasks that helps the machines, and it works with human language. It can translate languages, and it can detect emotions, identify the feelings in the text. It can do text to speech or speech to text also. It can do both, right? So overall, NLP helps the machine translate languages, detect emotions, and convert speech and text, making the communication easier between the computers and the machines. Now, let's see our first application, that is language translation. What happens in language translation? जो हम यूज करते हैं एक लैंग्वेज को सेकेंड लैंग्वेज में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए सीमलेसली और इन अ स्मूथ वे, by preserving the meaning, by having the context, and it should work with multiple input formats. That is what we want in our language translation, right? Now let's quickly explore one language translator. Go on this, scan this QR code, scan this QR code. Once done, mention done in the chat so that I know. Shivam says, if I am asked politic related questions, then response not provided. Because that, Shivam, that comes under the topic of AI ethics that will be taught to you in the next session, that what AI ethics. You are using the advanced technologies, but a major topic in the AI is, majority topic is AI ethics. How to use every AI tool ethically. That is very important. Okay. So scanned, let me also open it. If we go down, open translator. This is the translator. Okay, I'm giving you 30 seconds. Try translating something. You can try. For example, I say, I love AI and I will start learning. I will start learning coding to build amazing things. For example, I want this. Okay, so my English is converted to Spanish. If I want, I can do the reverse of it also. Right? This is how your translator works. This you might have done also earlier. Done. Okay. So let's move on to the next application we have, sentiment analysis. Okay. So where you have seen the sentiment analysis around you? Any one example? Where? Okay, I'm learning AI with expert. Okay, Shivam. Great. Okay, so where you have seen sentiment analysis? Or what you mean by sentiment analysis? Wherein Gayatri says WhatsApp, okay, others says AI chatbots, Spotify, okay. Let me see. Chatbots, WhatsApp, customer reviews. Right. So all of you are right that basically sentiment analysis टेक्स्ट के अंदर क्या करते हैं हम, वी अंडरस्टैंड द फीलिंग्स, इमोशंस आइडेंटिफाई करता है सिस्टम. अब सिस्टम ये डिटेक्ट करता है कि मैसेज पॉजिटिव है, नेगेटिव है या न्यूट्रल है. अब मशीन्स क्या देखती है, सिर्फ वर्ड्स देखती है, वो ये नहीं देखती कि टोन क्या है, कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्या है, वो समझने की कोशिश नहीं करती. लाइक इफ आई से द प्रोडक्ट इज अमेजिंग, ऑटोमेटिकली वो क्या सेंटिमेंट है, पॉजिटिव सेंटिमेंट, राइट? इफ आई से द प्रोडक्ट वाज वर्स्ट, इट ऑटोमेटिकली आइडेंटिफाइज इट एज द नेगेटिव सेंटिमेंट, right? सो इस तरह एनएलपी रिटन कंटेंट के अंदर हिडन फीलिंग्स को आइडेंटिफाई करता है, राइट? नाउ where you may, as you mentioned, some of the applications. So similarly, we have customer review analysis where sentiment analysis is done. Social media monitoring is there where organization what they do, वो ट्रैक करती है पब्लिक की ओपिनियन एक प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर, एक सर्विसेज के ऊपर. जैसे कोई भी एक नया स्टोर खुलता है, व्हेन वी विजिट इट, व्हाट हैपेंस, आपसे एक रिव्यू फॉर्म भरवाया जाता है, फीडबैक फॉर्म भरवाया जाता है. व्हेन देयर इज सम न्यू एप्लीकेशन व्हिच इज देयर इज अ feedback form which is to be submitted from you. They request, please fill the feedback form. That is so that they can do the sentiment analysis for the customers, right? And they can increase the brand reputation accordingly. So let's do one activity on this. Scan this QR code. Now let's try the to see sentiment analysis in action. One scan mentions done in the chat. So in this activity, what we will do, we will enter a text and we will observe that how system identifies whether the sentiment is positive, negative or neutral with different models. Let me open it as well. Okay, everyone is on this page. If yes, mention yes in the chat. Done, done, done. Okay, I have already received so much done. Yes, okay. Okay, now, here you can see we have two sentiment models. One is your rule-based model, that is VADER like. Another is transformer, that is Distilbert, right? Which is more advanced somewhat. Now, both models use the same text but may give different outputs, different results. So, let's try a quick example here. You can try from these examples also, which is already inbuilt, or you can write your own text and see that what output you are getting. For example, if I say this product is amazing. So you can see overall sentiment is positive, positive. If I say now here, rule based is giving 50% positive and transformer is giving 100% positive because this is an advanced version. Now if I say is bad, see automatically the arrow has shifted to the negative, right? So if I say the product is amazing, but uh, interface is not that good. See, now transformer has detected that it is a overall slightly negative comment, but rule based said it is a 24% positive comment. But what was it? It should be categorized into which category? Positive or negative? It should be categorized into which? Positive, negative, neutral. Which, what do you think? Okay, slightly positive. Negative, Ujjwal says. No one says neutral. Neutral. Okay, Manu says negative. Shubham says slightly bad. Yes, so it could be a neutral or slightly bad. So you can see that how transformer is giving you better results or more accurate results. It is understanding the sarcastic comments also, right? So we just tried a sentiment detected model. Now everyone has done. Let's get back to our PPT. If done, mention done in the chat so that we can move further. If you are still doing, mention that also. Okay. I can see a lot of done. Okay, great, guys. Let us move further. Okay, now next we have is text to speech. What is text to speech? When we are converting our text to some audio or audio basically, not video. Speech is audio, right? So let's do a practical example of this also. Scan the QR code. Then we will move on to the screen. So from the previous activity, basically what we learned is that sentiment analysis helps the machine to understand emotions, opinions, attitudes which are expressed in text. Now here machine समझ text ही रही है, natural language ही रही है, बस उसके emotions और opinions और उसके attitude in which it is expressed वो समझ रही है. Goal is same, to understand the human feelings through the language, right? Now, okay, I have received a lot of yes that you have scanned it. So this is what you might see. Here is the input text box, which you can see, wherein if you write anything, for example, I write same thing. I love AI. I write only this. You can write anything, and if I click on generate, so what it will do, it will start generating audio. So we have, wait a minute, it's hanging a bit, I guess, for me. Okay. Okay, is it done for you? Everyone, is it done for you? Okay, Shivam says it is done. Okay, select the voice also from here and then generate the speech. Now it is generating. Now let's click. So see what is happening. Based on whatever voice we are generating, we have selected. Now we have n number of voices here. You can select any and accordingly it is generating the speech. You can play it and listen to that. So if I have, for example, a PDF, I have no time to read through it. What I can do, I can paste it here, I can generate the speech and I can only listen to that easily. I need not to go through the PDF. That is how it can be used easily, right? So it's that great that it's very easy. If I'm commuting somewhere, मैं कहीं travel कर रही हूँ, मेरे को कोई PDF पढ़नी है. Instead of reading through, I can only copy paste here, generate, and I can download this voice. Here is the download option also, right? So done, everyone. Gayatri, Gayatri, what issue you are facing? Done, done, done. Shivam says yes. Shubham says yes. Rohan says yes. Okay. Manu says yes. Okay, I am getting a lot of yes. So let's move further. That was your text to speech. Now, the last application we have is your POS tagging. What is POS tagging? Part of speech. Part of speech means, first I want to ask from you, when we form a sentence, we have, every word has a specific role, right? Every word has a specific role, right? Yes or no? When we form a sentence, हर word का कुछ एक role होता है, एक meaning होता है. Yes, yes, yes. Right. Okay. So some words are nouns, some are verbs, some are adjectives, and these roles helps us to understand the meaning and structure of a sentence, that how a particular word is used in a sentence. Like here, your I is a proverb, your like is a verb, to is a preposition, your books is a pronoun because it is books, not book. So that is a pronoun. And when we are categorizing your words into this grammatical language, that is called as part of speech tagging, so that machines can understand your language in the grammatical format, right? तो सिंपल वर्ड्स में पीएस टैगिंग का काम क्या होता है कि सेंटेंस के हर वर्ड का एक रोल डिफाइन करना, कि सिस्टम ये डिटेक्ट करता है कौन सा वर्ड एक नाउन है, कौन सा वर्ब है, कौन सा एडजेक्टिव है, कौन सा प्रेपोजिशन है. दैट इज द मेन पर्पस ऑफ योर पीओएस टैगिंग. So let's see. Now again, we will do one activity and see how it works. Scan the QR code. Once you open the tool, you will see a text box. Let me also open it. Everybody, please scan once done. Once scanned, mention done in the chat that you have scanned so that I know. Okay, you have scanned. Okay. So you can see we have a text box here, right? So let's use this text only. You can select a passage also from here if you want. If I click on analyze text, or if, for example, I select a passage. Let's select this. Okay, a random passage I have selected. You can copy paste any content also. And when I click on analyze text, you go here. What is happening here? Your every word from you, from ploy till end is divided into different grammatical terms. Noun, proposition, verb. See how amazing it is. 7 is a value. 4 is a proposition. Preposition. Now, when we introduce this meanings, grammatical meanings into the machine, तो वो क्या समझता है? वो context समझ जाता है language का. तो हमें इसने बता दिया stats के total words हमारे पास 170 थे. Unique tags मतलब grammar tags कितने थे? 11. Noun कितने हैं? Verb कितने हैं? This we have learned. So see how amazing it is. अब dependency tree. अब dependency tree, if you click on, you will see a tree. It is taking size. See, it is, this tree is similar to your decision tree. Somewhat, right? It is similar to the decision tree which you have learned. And the fourth part, come on the named entities part. What is this name entity recognition? This is again very important in NLP. अब name entity क्या करती है? Entity क्या होती है? What is entity? Everyone, entity किसे बोलते हैं? ENTITY. What is entity? What is entity, guys? Attributes. Okay. Real world existence. Okay. Object or thing. Entity is basically object or thing, right? So entity is basically कि किस word की entity क्या है? For example, मेरी entity is my name. Can be my entity. I am a person, right? So अगर someone says Anjali, that can be recognized as a person. So here, what named entity recognition, ये process क्या करता है? ये हर word को different entities में convert कर देता है. जैसे 2018 एक date है, right? क्या नेम पर्सन में आता है? आइसलैंड इज अ प्लेस, राइट? एंड योर 6.1 is a value, 2018 is a year. So name, place, year, date, value, these all are the entities. तो हम क्या करते हैं? पूरे पैराग्राफ को इनकी एंटिटी रिकॉग्निशन में मदद करता है. विच प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड एज नेम्ड एंटिटी रिकॉग्निशन, right? So we have two processes in the single demo. One was your POS tagging, in which हम part of speech को tag करते हैं, और second is named entity recognition, जहाँ हम entity को recognize करते हैं, right? So done everyone? If done, mention done in the chat. If done, mention done in the chat. Done. Okay, great. Okay, then the benefits of NLP. The benefits of NLP are same, which we understood that why NLP is powerful. That is same, faster communication, task automation, saves time, right? So, not getting into it. Now, what limitations we have of NLP? That is very important. What limitations we have of NLP? That some machines or some sentences can be difficult for a machine to understand because we have complex language, complex sentences that may be misunderstood by machine. Training data कितना एक machine को मिला है, that dependency is there. Common sense gap, that we humans have emotions, we have common sense, but machines does not have. We are training the machine to have that, right? So it has limited understanding of real world knowledge or emotions, and also cultural context key. It faces struggles while understanding the references, cultural references, right? So that is some of the limitations we have. Then let's see what is the future of NLP. Future of NLP, we already know. कि machines are already talking like the humans. People are spending more time on GPT and Gemini rather than with friends and family. So that is already into the picture. And better understanding that NLP systems will develop deeper understanding of context, meaning, right? So multilingual power, that if I go to some other country and I have no knowledge information, language information, I can take help of these bots or NLP machines, right? And obviously smarter assistants, which is being integrated in every domain. Either it is a developer, either it is a admin, either it is any domain, either it is a tech or a non-tech. हर domain में assistants are being integrated, right? So last activity for today, a customer support chatbot. So we have कम्युनिकेटेड, हमने बहुत बारी चैटबोट देखी है, राइट? अपने रियल लाइफ में कोई भी ऐप खोलते हैं, हम चैटबोट से इंटरैक्ट करते हैं, कोई वेबसाइट खोलते हैं, सबसे पहले हाउ कैन आई हेल्प यू आता है नीचे, राइट? सो let's experience a live chatbot. Scan this QR code. We will experience a live chatbot. Scan it. Once done, mention done in the chat. Let me also open it. Okay. So you can see it is Philip, your AI agent here. Now, as we interact, as I say, hi, how are you? So you can see this is chatbot, which you usually have interacted with also, but main thing is you will be creating this chatbot in the next session. How this chatbot is built in reality with no code. So, uh, explain NLP in one line. So you can interact with it. See, I got the definition in one line. So this is your chatbot, and you be curious, be attentive in the next session as well, because you will be building the same in the next session. So everyone have tried it? Everyone done? Tried it? Okay, I can see done. Okay, tried, yes. Okay. So we already have seen that how NLP impacts our life in assessing the information or global communication, education support, in customer support, in customer services, in technology interactions. This we are experiencing daily in our life and by listening to the news which is going around in the world, right? So NLP in social media, as I gave you examples, it is analyzing our comments, recommending content to us, understanding the opinion. It is basically the machine is helping or trying to understand the people's emotional online and opinions online. That is why Instagram पे एक रील पे 1 मिनट लगाओगे तो सारी रील्स सिमिलर आने लग जाएगी, राइट? बिकॉज मशीन आपको समझने की कोशिश कर रही है. Similarly, in email system, it happens that your unwanted emails is flooded on daily basis, right? So NLP आपको क्या करती है, उसको ऑटोमेटिकली या तो स्पैम में डाल देती है, किस में डालती है? अनवांटेड मैसेजेस में. Third, online shopping, same recommendations. This we have already discussed, right? Then, how in healthcare? How NLP is helping you in healthcare? What do you think? How NLP is helping you in healthcare? This we have discussed in many sessions. Diagnosis, reports. Yes, I can see a lot of people saying reports, diagnosis. Okay, right, everyone. So it helps, it assists the doctor with treatment decisions, right? It gives a computer generated report and helps assist the doctors basically. Now, NLP in real life. Last thing, scan the QR code fast. So this also will be, this is just an overview which I am giving you for the next session. Scan the QR code and you will land on an amazing page, which is this. See, this is, you don't have to worry that we are going into the depth of this? It is just to show you that, see, in every domain, it is NLP based applications. And you can see it is in every domain, medical domain, information extraction, or you can say clinical domain, social determinants, or recommend available models, right? So these are multiple domains in which NLP models are already built. So this view was just to show you that NLP is already everywhere around us, right? So this also, this and your chatbot, you will be understanding in the next session. So last activity, everyone, for today, scan the QR code and fill out the form so that I know that how much you have understood. Till now, I am getting detect and diagnosis, detect and diagnosis. Class is also awesome. I'm also able to understand previous class. Thank you, Shivam. Okay. Scan the QR code, everyone. If done, mention done in the chat. Once you are done, mention done in the chat. Okay, Omkar has done, Ujjwal has done, done. I can see many people done. Rohan has completed, Shubham done. Muskan says done, Spooty done. Okay, guys, thank you so much for filling out the form. Now, the conclusion we have seen today, why it is very important that the now technology has changed. हम पहले कंप्यूटर सीखते थे, अब कंप्यूटर हमें सीख रहा है, राइट? एनएलपी कैसे हेल्प कर रहा है कंप्यूटर्स को टू अंडरस्टैंड द ह्यूमन लैंग्वेज, हाउ it is enabled, the communication between humans and machines are enabled, and how a structured process of NLP follows. How, what is the NLP pipeline? What are the techniques in the text pre-processing, right? And how technology is continuously evolving and improving. This is what we have discussed today. Thank you so much and for bearing me for 2 hours, right? So if you have any questions, you can mention in the chat. For today, that is all from my end. If you have any questions, you can mention in the chat. Open for your queries. Then we will end that. Muskan, it was amazing. Thank you, Muskan. Everyone, if anyone has any question, you can ask in the chat. Then we would be winding up. Okay. You can refer to LMS. Manu, I don't have it. To contact. Okay. Disease prediction is part of NLP. Prediction is done by models only, Ujjwal, but yes, how you are making the models understand your language, that is NLP, right? So don't confuse NLP with the models. Models are playing their role, which you have studied till now, machine learning, deep learning models. NLP is a combination with the modeling part, with the algorithms. So don't get confused in both. Okay, that's it with the queries. Okay, everyone, thank you for the session. Bye bye. Have a good evening.